Convention Center Authority, and I would note that Councilman Hager and Councilman Pridemore are with us. And Charles, if you could introduce yourself and your colleague, and then make whatever presentation you'd like to make.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. With me also today is Heidi Runyon, our Director of Finance with the Convention Center Authority. And just a few brief kind of opening comments, and certainly any questions that y'all may have. And let me say, Mayor, this is kind of an interesting day for us. I mean, for us to come up and see you, which will be our last chance to get to do a budget presentation to you. And I really want to just say on behalf of the authority, certainly all the staff of the Music City Center and the number of customers we've hosted, how much we appreciate the vision and guidance you had in helping us make the Music City Center a reality. Just to tell you, we're going to finish up our second year of operation right toward the end of this fiscal year. And we will have had, in these first 2 years, a little over 675 events, 1.1 million unique customers or guests that have come through the Music City Center, over 725,000 room nights, and just over $600 million in economic impact in our first 2 years. Wow. To say that we are absolutely blowing projections out of the water is truly an understatement. And so it certainly takes the vision and the guidance to help us get there and what you can see for this city. So we appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you. It's a team effort, so thanks.
Well, and you've been one of our best salespeople. As we know, you're there many times speaking to groups on our behalf and helping get them to the city. So thank you. As we finish up this year, we're going to finish up the rest of the year very strongly. And as we're already starting to look toward, fiscal 16 as we start to move into that. But just to give you an idea, fiscal 15 will end up with just in this year alone, a little over $350 million in economic impact in this single year. Some of the groups that came in this last year, just highlighting a few of those, Mary Kay came in January. So I had my nice pink towel on that week. We were all set and ready to go. But, groups like that and Southern Association of Colleges and Schools and MacDon Industries, that's the reason we built this facility. So groups that came to town that had 8, 10, 12,000 people using a number of hotels and spending an awful lot of money in the city. As we look forward to 16, in this next budget year, we're going to see a lot of the same. We'll see groups like Beachbody coming in, National Science Teachers, which, Mayor, you may remember was one of the ones that booked with us very, very early on. Yep. And had the faith to come before we even got started. I certainly, with council members Pridemore and Hager here, would be remiss if I didn't mention National League of Cities, which will be with us in November. We're very excited to have them coming to town. And turn away for a moment. Thank y'all for going with us. They went down this year on the pre-planning visit for them to come here in November. So appreciate all their help in helping secure that piece of business coming in. And so that's the kind of groups we'll continue to see in 16 and out into 17. As we look forward this year, both revenue-wise and expenditure-wise, what we're continuing to see is that revenue growth is continuing. We're seeing in the building itself. But as importantly as anything else, we've been able to control expenses while delivering a really first-class service and experience for our customers. And as we see in our customer surveys and groups coming back to us, the intent to return is extremely high. And more importantly, in a lot of cases for us, we've got customers becoming our advocates now, where they're going out and telling their friends, hey, you've got to come to Nashville. You've got to come to the Music City Center and all that's going on in this great downtown that we all know and appreciate. Certainly, we have to be very fiscal responsible as we look out. Year to date, our hotel tax collections through January, which is the last month we have in so far this year, we're running about a little over 39% ahead year over year in tax collections. So 39%.
39% ahead.
Yeah, year over year through January. And so when you look at those numbers and see,
skewed because of the TDZ number.
That does not include the TDZ. If I gave you the TDZ number, it would be, and we didn't put that in, so it wouldn't skew it, Rich.
So sorry.
And then kind of just to finish up with certainly, and then any questions y'all may have. When you look at our total revenue and expenses for fiscal 16 as we look out, I think what's important to note is that between our operating revenues, the revenue streams that are dedicated to the MCC, we anticipate having about $100 million in revenue in fiscal 16. We estimate our entire expenses, which is operating expenses, debt service, commitments that we have to other entities, such as what we committed to on the Omni Hotel, and also capital or CapEx that we're going to put back into the building. We estimate our expenses for fiscal 16 at a little over $78 million. So we're going to see a net surplus going to our surplus revenue accounts that we manage and hold along with Bob Lackey over at Metro. We're going to exceed that number by $27 million this coming year. So I think as we continue to see the story that we said, what we thought was going to be a tremendous news story as we move forward, continues to be the case, Mayor. And so certainly as we look into next year, we see a $27 million surplus coming just for some fiscal 16 on top of what we've had so far to date. So wow. Great news story here from the Convention Center Authority. I am also pleased, as has been, I guess, reported a little bit here this morning, the Convention Center Authority did approve or recommend to the council the redevelopment of the old Nashville Convention Center that's on its way to the Metro Council, and so we're certainly proud to be a part of that. And
you're going to miss it, but
I'm going to miss it terribly. Hunt may miss it a little more than I will, but it'll be, but yeah, it's going to be a great reuse of some phenomenal city real estate.
Excellent.
So thank you.
Where does that put us with reserves right now?
We're currently estimating that our reserves at the end of fiscal 15 will be somewhere a little bit north of $45 million. And so then you add on the 16, right now we're forecasting about $27 million more that would go to that number. And that's after the commitments that we've made, commitments we're making on behalf of the redevelopment of the old center includes that number in there. So we're pretty happy where we are right now. But you know what? We're going to work hard. We're going to go back this afternoon and work hard again. So
that's fantastic.
We got a great team to help us do that.
I would hate to be in a department coming after you. You know, that's
I'm asking for a loan. You won't get it.
That's great. So in terms of the project that was just approved by the Convention Center Authority, which involved how much? $4
million of the reserves.
So that to the point that was being made on Friday when we announced the project, that the Convention Center Authority was clearly in a position where this would not be a burden.
Right. As we talked about at the authority meeting today, you know, I would not want to take $4 million from their reserves if the number was low, but they're operating on 2.5 years of operating surplus. I mean, they could operate with no revenue for 2.5 years and sort of make it work, even after we took out the $4 million. So they're in a position where if it's a good business decision and it's something good for the city, they're in a position to do that. Furthers their mission, which the Renaissance does.
And certainly the Renaissance furthers our mission tremendously because they've been such a great partner. Since '87. I mean, and then I think when we talk to customers, I mean, the one thing that we hear that if there is a missing ingredient, is the retail component downtown could certainly use from a conventioneer standpoint. I think what's really impressive, and people are going to really, once they see this full development going on down there, is this retail component and the activity going to go on at the old site is not just for visitors. I mean, I think residents of Nashville are going to be really, really excited to come downtown and shop and come back to downtown for other reasons. So that's why from the authority's perspective, to be engaged some, we see it as a real visitor and resident win for the city and for us for the authority.
So just so the viewers understand, the purpose of the reserve is money that is additional revenue that was generated that's not needed for the operation of the building in the current fiscal year. Right. That money is kept on hand to meet any potential deficit that may occur in building operations in the future, and it's also kept on hand for bond purposes.
And also for capital expenditures, to maintain the building as we go forward, yes.
Had to come back to the city and say, hey, I need $5 million to fix new carpet.
Whatever it may be, right.
They should have more than adequate monies to do that themselves.
Yeah.
But the reserves themselves come about after you pay the debt service.
That's after we've paid the debt service, after we've paid operating, absolutely. And the Omni payment.
All obligations.
All obligations are covered, and then this is our surplus moving forward. And
so the success with the reserves is attributable to the number of visitors and the amount of hotel motel tax generated. And is the other fund performing at that level too? tourist
The 50 cent, the $2 or the
TDZ.
TDZ was extremely good this year.
Yeah.
We had the first full year of TDZ, and the payment was about what, $13
million.
$13 million, which was
Yeah.
4 or 5 million more than anticipated in the projections, which obviously helps the numbers. You know, I mean, all of the taxes are exceeding.
Yeah.
Significantly exceeding the projections.
And as we've done, one of the things that we've done for the authority this year is Heidi's put together our first really look at just a 5-year financial plan. Mm-hmm. And so as we went out in 5 years in the future and said, okay, how much capital are we going to need? Where do we think we're going to have operations are going to look like? What's our debt service? We know we have taken an extremely conservative approach to all these revenue streams for those 5 years. And that's still a very solid picture that we're able to share with the authority. So we have developed a 5-year plan. Haven't got past that yet, but we're working, you know. So even with very conservative growth in revenue streams, we still have a very positive and increasing surplus moving out over the next 5 years as we see it today.
Okay. Well, anecdotally, what I hear every time I go to an event there is that the convention organizers say that this is like the best convention, or in terms of numbers of their members showing up for it, that they've had in years.
Yeah. We have, I would, and I should have brought that today, I think we've only had one group this year that was a national association that didn't set record attendance. I think it was one that didn't, and it was its highest in 5 years. And a building that you're familiar with, Mayor, we just had a group just left, Public Educators Association, and they're on their way to Boston next year. And as she left our post-con just last week, and I've known this lady for a while, she said, I just called your buddy in Boston and told him, said, man, the bar has just been raised. And here's a national group with 10,000 people were in town last week and can go anywhere in the United States. I mean, every city in the country wants that group, and that's what we're hearing out of planners, is that we have set the bar very high. We got a phenomenal facility. And you know, as I say a lot and have said out publicly, is that I think our citizens of Nashville really don't realize when we're competing with other cities how good we have it and how well we've worked this downtown area compared to cities we're competing against.
I think that's the whole SEC attraction, is that
absolutely
you come to Nashville and it's all there. You don't have to drive around and get out. It's all there.
Right there.
What? How are we doing with hotels, do you think? Are we?
Well, we're certainly very excited that the Westin's under construction. We'll be very happy to see the Hilton Garden Inn open here in just a couple of short months. We certainly still need additional, let's call them full-service hotel rooms. So we need more, you know, the ones we've got downtown now, whether it be Omni, Hilton, Renaissance, Westin that's come, we need those type rooms. And to say that we could use another 600-800 of those today, in addition to what's under construction, we absolutely could. So I think as we continue to talk with full-service hotel developers and as they continue to look, and there's a number of them, as y'all know, looking, no one has come forward yet with anything concrete. I think we absolutely need to get another or two hotels downtown to make it a very compelling story. I mean, the one comment we do here is when groups are coming in, as the deal with school boards was last week, and they were in 30-odd hotels, there's an awful lot of shuttling and an awful lot of people and bus traffic and moving them. And so that is the one probably, if there is a negative right now, that's the one that we hear is just lack of hotel rooms. So we certainly could use some more assistance there. So any help, as y'all are talking to folks know you hear them, we do too. It'd be it's much appreciated anything we do to try to work that way.
Good. Rich?
Yeah. Great story.
Yeah. Nothing.
Well, I think the reserve story is such a good story, and the success, obviously we benefit from the new building, we benefit from our central location, we benefit from sort of the attention the city's received. I think the downtown package is a good thing, and the nature of our music environment is, you can't overestimate that. And we benefited from the country coming out of the recession, and we were sort of uniquely positioned to take advantage of that. But we have to assume that, they haven't revoked the business cycle, and there will be times that will not be as good as they are right now. And so it's really commendable that that reserve has been built up and should give a lot of security to folks. Yes. I would say I'm everything I've seen and what I know, I'm very bullish on Nashville. And I'm very bullish on particularly the hospitality market and that building going forward. And thank you for your great work and your staff's great work. You guys made it happen, and you run it very, very well.
Well, thank you. Appreciate y'all's help, as you know. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.